Welcome to Consulting Chai. Today we are again covering the hospital basics, and under that we will be covering medical lab. The lab is a very big topic, so we'll be doing it in two parts. So today it's the first part. So in the first part we will be first doing the overview, and then we'll talk about registration process, then the sample collection process, then sample receiving and processing, the reporting part, and then internal quality and external quality. So, first thing first, you start with the overview. So, first you need to keep certain records like scope of testing, normal range, critical range. Then you need to have documents like quality system manual, quality system procedure manual, safety manual, and patient registration and patient sample collection manual. And then the SOPs, which shall be made as per the scope of testing. Then comes forms and formats, which can be categorized into pre-analytical, analytical, post-analytical, and as per the departments. Then you need to have certain records of the environmental condition. So the temperature, humidity is one important aspect of it, and then the cleaning. Then comes the sample. So sample as in from the collection, transport, acceptance and rejection inside the lab, processing of the sample, storage of the sample, and integrity testing. Then comes the reagent. So reagent, the flow is vendor evaluation, and then you do a vendor selection and review after a year, then acceptance rejection, then storage of the reagent, and then lot validation before you use it to inside the equipment. Then manpower. For manpower, the file should have your job description, identification documents, and then the interview documents, their academic records, vaccination, CME, which can happen anytime, and also they need to have their titer test done. Then the training you should have a calendar, and then the training records, the attendance, and certain a few things written about the training. Then training feedback, and then you need to also keep training effectiveness evaluation records. Then you have equipment. For equipment, you need to you need to keep records of IQ, OQ, PQ, that is installation qualification, operational qualification, and performance qualification. Then the calibration records, the maintenance records. Then you have internal quality, where you do daily internal quality control, and then you analyze it as in form of LJ chart using Westgard rules. Then you can also do split sample testing, and you need to do retesting. Then you have external quality, that is external quality assurance, and then you also have internal inter-lab comparison. Then you have the report formats. Briefly to tell you, report format will have the hospital or lab's identification, sample, what sample it is, date, time, method, normal range, critical values, unit, consultant sign, etc. Then it will have internal audit, the NABL 223 document, and then MRM. MRM, as per ISO 15189 2022 standard, it is clause number 8.9. Then you have the filing system, where you file the documents department wise and frequency wise, as in date, month, daily, monthly, quarterly, half yearly, yearly, or once, or even as and when required. And then you have incident report. So incident report should be followed by RCA CAPA. This is to improve through identifying the faults and for continual improvement. So this, the whole overview that you see, this is a humongous task to do. And let me tell you a very important thing. From all these things that you are seeing, training, record, document, forms and format, quality, IQC or external quality, reagent sample, incident reporting, the records that you do, maintenance, internal audit, MRM, filing, all these things. After doing all this, you finally have the record. All these efforts are only to have a very good report. So, you see the kind of things that is done behind the scene to get that one document correct. And most importantly, this is what I learned in my career from this process of NABL, that whenever you do something, you put all the efforts, all the possible things you have to do in order to get the best result. You cannot be satisfied by doing 2 3 things out of 10 and think that it will go your way. So that is what I learned from NABL process. So what happens in registration? In registration, you need to maintain the lab timings. The defined TAT needs to be displayed there. You also need to display the time limit for additional tests, and that is basically till what time the patient or the attendant can request for additional test. Then the price list is very important to be kept in the registration for ready referral. And then you need to have information brochure where you have vital information for the patients and attendants. And then we have our sample collection. Sample collection, the first thing is labeling. You need to label it correctly. Nowadays, many labs they use barcodes. Then the most important thing in sample collection, not the most but very important thing, is the order of draw. So we'll learn this through some animation. So you can see a monkey. I'll use Hindi here. छोटा बंदर रात को गन्ना लेके घूमता है. So and just imagine that this monkey is very naughty and badtameez, because the monkey is playing around. So you can see chota as in culture, बंदर blue, रात को red, गन्ना ग्रीन, लेके लेवेंडर, घूमता है ग्रे, बदतमीज कहीं का black. So this is the order of draw that we follow. And another important aspect is the vial volume that we have. That has to be, the sample has to be taken as per the mark. Whenever you change the volume of the sample, then you actually need to change the vial. Okay, if you collect less blood from the mark, then the blood gets concentrated. The reagent inside that, you'll have it concentrated. And if you take more than the mark, then the reagent gets diluted. And then another important thing is the carrying ice box. It needs to have a biohazard symbol. And then one important aspect that needs to be taken care here is the needle stick injury. So nowadays you have needle these things which can be capped from sideways, which are the best options to prevent needle stick injury. So once the sample comes to the lab, you have to first check it whether the sample is okay or not, whether the amount is okay, whether it is clot. There is clot, you have to see it first. Then if everything is okay, then you start with sample segregation. It goes to different departments. You have to centrifuge it, and then you need to load it in the analyzers. And then if you have LIS integration, then from this equipment, it directly comes to your system. And if you don't, then you have to maintain a workbook. And then through that, after that, the report preparation process happens. And then the sample which are processed, it has to be stored. And now the results can be seen on the system. So the consultant needs to open it, and whenever there is a requirement where she needs to see the microscope, so she verifies it, which is very important for HIMAT. So if he or she finds anything clinically, then it is asked to be rerun. Okay, if it is critical, then the technician reruns it anyways. Okay, and then after the report is checked and everything is okay, then the final report is generated. Okay, so in the report, lab identification must be there, the sample must be there, the date and time for sample collection, and the report should be there. So if you do this, then what happens is the system automatically captures the turnaround time, and you can have a small check box where you do whether it is a routine sample or it is an urgent sample. Okay, then you have to write the method as per the test, the parameters, and then you need to write the normal range, the critical value. If it is coming abnormal, then it will be highlighted differently, and if it is going abnormal and it is also going beyond the critical level, then it has to be highlighted differently. Okay, and then consultant signs, it is required, and if it is through LIS, then automatically the signature comes. There are certain times in certain labs, in most of the lab that I have seen, the consultants are not available at night. So what happens if the hospital needs an urgent report? There the technician releases a provisional report, which is an interim report. So mentioning interim report must be there in the report. So it is a very important aspect of the report. What happens is there may be certain cases where if it is not known, if a report is generated and if that report is taken as a final report without being checked by the consultant, then there may be some certain problems may arise. One common problem that I've seen is for the HIMAT. So if a HIMAT report is just given without being mentioning it as a provisional report, and if a new RMO has seen it, and say for example in the morning there is a cesarean case, and in the report it is showing there is the platelets are less, so the RMO will mistakenly tell the husband to get blood units for the wife because her platelet is too low. And then the husband goes at night, roams around, somehow gets 2 units of blood, and in the morning when the consultant comes, the consultant verifies it and finds that the platelets are normal. So this can arise a lot of problem. So this way, a lot of problems may arise. So it is very important to keep yourself be on the safer side, and also the hospital on the safer side, so that the RMO or anyone, they understand that this report which are being released at night, these are only provisional reports, and it cannot be taken as a final report. Now, internal quality control. So in internal quality control, for different departments, the processes are different. So let me just cover about biochemistry, serology, and hemat. So daily IQC is required, minimum 2 levels, and you also need to basically cover the 24 hours time. So in order to save cost, what you can do in the morning, you can run 2 levels, in the evening 1 level, and at night 1 level. So through that you need to make a Levy-Jennings chart. So this is a Levy-Jennings chart where you have the mean, and then 1, 2, 3 SD, plus and minus, plus above, minus below. So you need to analyze this trend, and after taking at least 20 some data, you have to define your lab mean. You cannot go on using the mean provided by the manufacturer, and this needs to be analyzed using Westgard rule. I'm not covering that because it is too long, and I have to I'll make another video on that, the whole internal quality control and Westgard rule and ICAS. I'll make a separate video. So in certain cases where you cannot do this, then you use a split sample. Okay, yeah. And then you have external quality. So external quality assurance, you can see even this follows the mean. Okay, the difference between IQC and ICA is basically, in IQC you are running one sample inside the lab, one sample daily, so you are getting a lot of data. But in case of external quality assurance, you are running one type of sample in multiple labs in a brief span of time, and you get the data, do statistical analysis, you get the mean, SD, and then for ICAS you can see there are several people who are putting their data. So I'm just using this to show you the similarity. So say for example, all these labs, they have given their data. So when you push it from this side to this side, what happens is you get this, and then you get a bell curve like this. So this bell curve will have its lines. So similarly, you have a mean, then you have 1 SD, 2 SD, 3 SD, minus on the left side and plus on the right side. Okay, and somewhere in the bell curve your lab's data will lie. Okay, and here you calculate the Z value. The formula for Z value is X minus the mean divided by sigma, that is the standard deviation. So then you get the Z value. A good Z value is between -2 to +2. Warning Z value is -2 to -3, and +2 to +3, and anything low below -3 and above +3 is an outlier. So thank you for watching till the end, and I tried to tell all this in a very brief time, and in actual What we do in lab is much more than what I've spoken here. And if you like this video, if you think I've given you some good information, then please like and subscribe for more such contents, and keep watching Consultant Chaik. Thank you.